Alright, what's up, creepers? And Geekers Chris, the Atari Creep. How's everyone doing today? If you've been around a while, you might recognize this. We put this together here on the channel quite a number of years ago. It's the very first thing I ever worked on that was 3D printed. I got this off of Etsy as a kit. All the pieces were separate, and I slowly put it together. But it just keeps falling and breaking, and now that I'm collecting... Or I shouldn't say collecting, but now that I have a handful of, lightsaber hilts that are much better quality, this thing, yeah, it looks cool. I don't really want to put it back together and put it on the shelf again. So, this is one of Disney's budget saber options. They're really great molds, I guess, sculpts, whatever you want to call them. Slightly smaller, because they're for kids. So my initial intent was to just extend this out with some PVC and then rewrap it with, it originally had this kind of like a rubber thing looking like, I don't know, some kind of a fabric wrapped around it for grip. I got canvas here. I got many yards of canvas. So I thought I'd just, stain them in different variations of color and wrap them up. But after this thing fell apart, I said, you know what? I wonder what would happen if we decided to take the two and smash them together.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
Because canon's fucking boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to separate as much of this as possible and combine it with this. And I actually have a plan. I actually already have a goal, which is so weird for these. But I figured, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's create some fucking sci-fi madness. And hopefully we can piss off a few fucking canon purists along the way. Win for everybody. So I'm going to start by just cutting this pommel piece up. I'm going to remove this whole section here. I'm going to cut it right at that line. That nice convenient line, and leave this nice detail down in this section here. I'm going to cut these three, What I'm hoping is if I leave this section here, that this will slot right in there. It's going to look weird, but I don't care. And then by removing this whole section, I'm hoping once I remove the grenade piece here, it doesn't kill my algorithm, it'll just slot right in there. And if not, I can just use putty to blend the pieces. And then after that, we'll worry about where to cut on this for this end. Alright, so this is going to work out pretty much how I expected it. I do still need to cut this piece off. And as you can see, some electronics is still in there. So I'm just going to have to clean this up with, I'll probably just use my palm sander. And just cut this last piece off. There we go. Anyone need a speaker? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out the palm sander. I don't think you need to see that. I'm just going to flush these up, clean them up, see what we're doing. Maybe open that up just enough to socket that in there. This is going to make so many people upset. I hope not. I hope people take the fun spirit of this build and just go with it. I don't mean anything by it, honestly. I just like to create. Meet. Boom. It's as ugly as I think it as I thought it was going to be. But we did get it. We did get it cleaned out. Alright, so I get this caked up with this Bondo spot glazing putty. Especially these older prints with the, you can really see the lines. I know a lot of people hate sanding, but trust me, just cake the thing up. You might have to do it 2 or 3 times, sanding it down lightly, and then do it again, sand it down. And then once you hit it with filler primer, a 2-part, like almost automotive primer, real thick stuff. Another quick little sand with 220, and your part should be ready for paint. Now I want to figure out how to get this acorn, or this, what would you call this, the pineapple section of the grenade. because it was the piece that started this whole project. I wanted to see what this would look like in between on the other lightsaber. So I'm probably just going to cut it right here. I might bang it once against something to see if I can just crack it. And then just trimming what I need to slowly until I expose the actual piece where it's, you know. And I'd like to save this as well, but not as important as this. So now I got to look at it as a whole. And so far, I'm actually kind of liking that. I didn't think I was going to. I thought it was going to look stupid. I could always just opt to cap this off with something cool. Or maybe even just find a way to make this smaller and integrate it. I really did want to use this. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll save this piece for last anyhow. So now I need to get these two to come together. And as you can see, I got a lot of obstacles there. I'm finding using one of these grinding bits, literally going in and around, seems to be working pretty well. However, I need to think about length here. And what I'm actually thinking about doing is chopping this down just a little bit more. And then getting this to socket in there. I just don't know what kind of nightmare I'm going to come across cutting into this. So I'm going to do it at an angle. And then see where we come from there. I wouldn't mind keeping this. One of my initial thoughts was to cut it literally right at the cog. And then see if I can't lock it in. But I think there might just not be enough material there. So let me trim this down and see if we can't fit these together. This isn't permanently attached or anything yet. So I'm just doing it right now for examples. But this is actually going to go together pretty well. This is actually going to look really rad. I don't know if you saw that, but it started a small fire. I'm just going to pull all this crap out by hand. And I bet you that if I just grind around this, oh my goodness, I started to think it wasn't going to work. But I think once I clean this right here out, which I'm just going to continue cutting and pulling and then cleaning, and then we'll see how much of this we're going to keep. I want to do it in small increments because I don't want to cut too much off. I want to keep the basic idea the same. So let me cut this, and this, pull this out, and see what we can get going. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what? I just need to make some minor adjustments. That actually looks pretty rad. Alright, so I'm going to have to clean that out, but... it's like such an ugly monstrosity. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I'm going to have to come up with something cooler for down there. Maybe just cut the cap off and put the cap in there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, but so far so good. I do want to put this on there. That might be a little too much, but you know what? Who cares? What I'm going to do is I'm going to grind out the whole. Actually, can I just do this? Oh, yes, Daddy. Guys, come on. Come on. Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with something for the pommel because I'm not using this piece. Not at all. I'm actually pretty damn excited. Look at that. I'm gonna hit it with some glazing putty, this part here, just a little bit on the edges here. between that, sanding it, giving it a little bit of filler primer, and then hitting it with this one metallic coat I do have, should hide pretty much most of them. And if anything, it kind of gives it kind of a cool mechanical look. But I'm still going to try to clean up some parts. Just this part here on this, everything else I'm keeping from this copper down. I'm going to keep that because most of it's going to be hidden anyway. But I'm going to mask it off with some paper. Hit this with a little bit of stuff to just smooth it out a little bit. Hit it with another color that'll hide more of the lines. We'll be ready to put the thing together and give it details. Alright, aside from one little thing I'm seeing right in here, I only did one coat of glazing putty. A good sand and about 3 or 4 coats of this stuff right here. So you can see how well that works. I mean, I didn't go balls to the wall or anything, so it's not going to be perfect. But it's good enough for government work, and it's good enough to get me through. So now I'm going to hit this with a black, and then this with a metallic, and then we're just going to go from there. Alright, so that's where I'm with that. I don't know if you can even see the color, but either way, all these bad Larrys I have laying around. I think that looks pretty slick. And then if you come over here, I might be rethinking this one. I gave it this gold. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up a little bit, smear some blacker stuff in here, and see if I want to leave it like that. I don't think so. If I remember correctly, directly under here is already this color. You know what? I hate to do it. I might change my mind on that, but I'm going to let it dry. I have a few things I still need to clean up. So it's not the final paint on it anyhow. But either way, guys, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I'll finish this tomorrow and get you another video, well, the day after that. So I hope you're enjoying this build so far. We only have a few more things to do to it, but I'm going to put that in another video. It's getting late, and I want to get this up. And I definitely have to finish this project tomorrow, because I actually finally, for the love of fuck, start working on Monday. It's like 25 bucks an hour, this joint. Hopefully it'll bump up as the skills are shown, if you know what I mean. I'm not holding my breath or anything, but so I'm going to let those dry, and then tomorrow I'm going to wake up, start part 2, and you should have that before Sunday evening, Monday morning, unless something goes a fuck and I can't finish the damn thing. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I mean, the music, those who've been around for a while, do you remember this music? I used to use this all the time for my builds, and I'm so stoked to get back into it. And this will probably be the next thing we finish up. The weather's getting nice, and I can finally do things on the porch. And I just had an urge to do that today, so we just did that. Wasn't even expecting it. So guys, wherever in the world you are, I hope you're doing well. And until next time, take care, creep it real.